Welcome to Alley Chats. This is a Southgate Media Group production, the brainchild of Mr. Rob Southgate. I guess in these time, the way the world is these days, with all the cons and everything getting canceled, since none of us can go to the cons, we're going to kind of bring cons to you, or at least creators. All right, so today I have Kristen Geaman with me. Hello, Kristen.
Hello, Phil.
Long time no chat. Yes, we do a podcast together, Nightwing News. All right, so first of all, tell everyone about yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, so what we're going to talk about is actually not a comics creation, but a book about comics.
Yes.
So in my day job, actually, I'm a history professor. So that's normally what I do. And also talk with Phil about Nightwing on the side.
Yeah, because the book is about Dick Grayson, the first and best Robin. Anyway, yes. So what's your background with the character?
So probably like a lot of people who are my age, 30s something, I got into it through Batman the Animated Series, because, it used to come on television after school, and we would watch it. And my brother, who's quite a bit younger than me, he was always really into Batman, which was great because actually I was always into Robin. So what's funny is my dad, it turns out the reason we were watching Batman the Animated Series because my dad had been a big Batman fan, and he started collecting and keeping the comics from probably about 1989 when we moved into our house, and he had a spot where he could keep those comics. So that was part of the reason we were watching, was because he was a Batman fan and he wanted to share it with us. This is my cat, Nightwing. That's how big a fan I am. Anyway, so because that's why we were watching the show, and funnily enough, I really got into Robin. He's my favorite character. My dad said, it's actually a different Robin, and he has his own comics now. What? So he gave me a couple of Tim's early Robin comics, and I read them, and it's sad now, but I didn't like it.
Oh.
When I was a little kid, I didn't like it because it's so funny because I didn't like that Batman wasn't in the comic. So I think I must have been reading around when Nightfall was happening. So
probably. It
was Tim mostly on his own, or sometimes Azrael was in there, and I didn't like it. And so I only read the animated series tie-in comics. And so then it wasn't actually until I was in grad school and I was looking for something that wasn't medieval history to read, something to make my brain relax, that I got back into it.
Nice. So,
and of course, now I love reading comics about the Robins that don't involve Batman. But when I was a kid, I wanted that classic pairing.
Well, you grew up. But, all right, so
times change.
So what was the inspiration for putting this book together?
So saw a lot of stuff online. Oh, Batman 75th, they were really gearing up. Oh, Robin's going to be 75 too. And then really the idea that, oh, hey, we should do a book about it comes probably from being an academic, because basically that's how academics celebrate everything is, oh, hey, something important's anniversary is coming up. We should write a book about it. And of course, 5 years ago was 2015. And 2015 was the 800th anniversary of Magna Carta. And so I'm a medievalist. People were all, ooh, yeah, Magna Carta. So I kept seeing all these things. Hey, 2015, 800 years of Magna Carta. Be in our book. I mean, I don't do Magna Carta, so I wasn't. And I think that's actually what made me think, hey, Dick Grayson is going to be 75. He should have a book too. If Magna Carta can have a book, Dick Grayson can have a book. And so that why it was, let's do something nerdy, like write a book about Dick Grayson.
And I know you reached out to certain comic creators, but there were other people in this book too. How did you find all these people?
Yeah, I'm the editor. So at that time, I was still doing stuff on Tumblr. That was kind of when I was in grad school and working part-time. Now that I'm a full-time, I don't really have as much time. But yeah, I reached out to various people. I did put out a call for papers on this kind of academic website that, lit pop culture. So a lot of people came to me. We just kind of put the word out and people popped in. And then, yes, I found that, like, connected on Facebook or something with some creators. and mostly I solicited questions from people on Tumblr. Some of the questions were questions that I had, and then we just kind of did what the creators were willing to do, because you'll notice if you get in there, and actually I try not to read reviews of the book, but someone did criticize. They said, "Oh, the interviews are very uneven," and that was because I did with what people said they were willing to do. So Denny O'Neil, people told me, hey, you should make sure you have Denny O'Neil in the book. He's Denny O'Neil. Okay. Yeah. But he, didn't really have a lot of time, and was maybe not as dedicated a Dick Grayson fan as, say, Devin Grayson is. So I kind of sent them questions, and they answered what they felt up to answering, what they had time for. Because you're asking these people to do it for free, to take time out of their lives. Like, I couldn't pay them. So some of the people said, yeah, I'll do a short interview. So they got 6-10 questions. I think Chuck Dixon's a little longer. I think Kyle Higgins might be a little longer, because Kyle also a young guy starting out. And then Devin said, yeah, I'll answer anything. Send me as many questions as you want. And a lot of people asked me questions for her. So yeah, hers is long, because I said, all right, well, here's all the questions I got. Answer what you want. And she was like, okay. And she answered all of them. We actually had to cut some out because I was like, okay.
I mean,
you're awesome. It's way too long. So
you would think with the nature of a book like this, I don't want to say uneven, but each chapter is, is by a different person. So of course it's not going to have like the same feel all the way through the book.
Right. Yeah. So that was kind of, I took what people gave me and what they were able to get in on time. Yes. Because, there was a deadline where I had to send stuff eventually to the publisher. So yeah, there are things I wish we'd had more about Dick and Barbara. But actually I don't think that one came in.
Yeah. And I know that you said this took some time, and with all the blood, sweat, and tears from the moment of inception to when it got published, how long do you think it took? How long did it take you to get this book?
I'd say it was probably about 18 months, maybe, because that's kind of one of the other things about academic publishing. And this is even with McFarlane, which is, I always refer to that. They're a good publisher to work with, but they're sort of academic light because they don't necessarily go through as many levels of peer review. Like, you don't have to, actually, we didn't, the peer review was like each other. We did like a round robin, and I edited everybody's stuff and that kind of thing. But since, we were mostly gearing this towards fans, and it's not, I'm not trying to get tenure off this book, or whatever. I said, yeah, we don't need it to go through peer review, because that would have added months to the process. And I wanted, so peer review is both good, but also functions as a little bit of gatekeeping, because, some of the people in here are undergraduates, and it was awesome that they could get a publication out of it. But, it's possible under a peer review to be like, oh, well, these people don't have, the credentials. Yeah. So yeah, even without peer review, it still took about 18 months, because you have to, hey, do you want to write? Okay, now you have to write. Now we have to read it. Now we have to edit it. Now we have to do it again. And then you have to get it to the publisher, and then they take a couple months to do their stuff too. So yeah, it can kind of take a long time, which is why, even though it came out in 2015, I think it just kind of barely mentions Grayson, because when we were finishing up at the end of 24, I think everybody had to have their stuff in at like November, December 2014.
Okay.
So that was, we knew he was going to be Grayson. We had only kind of seen the cover, and everyone was like, oh my God, he has a gun. And we were kind of freaking out.
Yes.
But I don't think we had gotten any Grayson issues at the cutoff where it was. So, so now, of course, yeah, it's been 5 more years, but even more than 5 years worth of stuff has happened. But I don't know. Maybe when he turns 90, that'll be 15 years from the next book. Maybe we can do one then. Because yeah, it kind of has a lot of lead time.
Yeah, because I think you said, I mean, this took some time, and I'm sure a lot of that is just sifting through all this information, all good, but it's just like, organizing and
yeah. And some of the
editing.
stuff. So I wrote the intro, and I did one article, and then I did the editing kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably could have been more relaxed about that, but I don't know. Historians were really obsessed with footnotes, and were really obsessed with bibliography and that kind of stuff. So that took me a really long time, probably because I'm just a nitpicky person like that. But I remember I was spending days stick in there because I wanted to make sure that you can always find what comic we're talking about in there, so we're not making it up. Oh, and then one thing, of course, that was different with this being about comic books. I said earlier, I'm actually a medieval historian, so one thing that I never have to worry about is how much I want to quote from something when I'm using my sources in medieval history, because none of the stuff is copyrighted, because copyright didn't exist in the Middle Ages. And of course, even if it did, I mean, I work in the 1300s, so
everyone's
that's
way dead. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's really dead. And the copyright, if it had been copywritten, which it was not, it would have definitely expired by now. So, and plus a lot of the stuff is long.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about what they talk about as fair use rules. And that was something you definitely have to worry about a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
With comic books is you have to be sure you're not quoting too much, because it's a weird line. You can of course write about it. I mean, there's tons of people doing great stuff about comic books and superheroes and stuff, but because these characters they're corporately owned and they're still under ongoing copyright, you have to be careful how much you quote. So I can't remember now exactly which quote it was, but there were a couple of issues that a lot of us were writing about in the book. A lot of different authors were writing about the relationships between Dick and the other Robins, Dick and Bruce, and there are a couple of comics that are really really important for that, and multiple people were putting the same quote in, and at the end stage, I had to go through and change that. So only one author could actually quote it. And then everybody else, I kind of had to change to them, say, okay, is it okay if we paraphrase it this way? And so that was something that I'd never thought of before. And I think it's something you particularly have to deal with when you do comic books, or you did anything with songs. I'm glad I don't do anything with songs. They're very intense about copyright on music.
All right. It takes a lot of time. I don't mean to cut you off, but we're running out of time here. So,
oh, sorry.
That's okay. So, I don't think you don't have a Patreon or anything, right?
No.
Probably the best way is to buy the book. So where can you buy the book? Is it Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. So the publisher is also McFarlane. That's their little. They have their own website. They're a press out of North Carolina. So McFarlane, McFarland. They publish all kinds of stuff. If you go to conventions, McFarlane usually does have a stand there. So I think that's where a lot of the sales are from the Dick Grayson book. But also. Yeah, you can get it. You can get it online. They sell it on Amazon. Oh, and there is an ebook available too. Yeah. And that might be a little bit cheaper.
And is there any place you want people to contact you, or even an email, anything?
I guess you can contact us through our Capes and Lunatics.
Oh yeah, you can always email. Yeah, if you want to get a hold of Kristen, just email me capesandlunatics@gmail.com, and I will forward it to her. All right, great, perfect. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
You can find Alley Chats on Facebook by searching for @AlleyChats. You can also visit us at our webpage, smgpods.com/AlleyChats, for links to all our episodes and other cool stuff. One easy way to support our show is to rate and review Alley Chats wherever you listen to your podcasts. Those ratings really help us out and help others find our show as well. Alley Chats is produced and edited by Rob Southgate for Southgate Media Group. Be sure to subscribe to Alley Chats because you definitely don't want to miss an episode. Thanks again to our affiliate sponsors, Hunt-A-Killer, and Tweaked Audio. Links to them are on our webpage and in the show notes. This wouldn't be possible without them. Our theme song is by Benny and the No Goods. Check out their awesome music at bennyandthenogoods.bandcamp.com. If you're an artist or writer or creative type that would have a table at an artist alley and would like to be on Alley Chats, message us through the Facebook page or email us directly at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com and we'll set up an interview. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with another fantastic show.